Tens of millions of people took to the streets of the United States of America and peacefully protested against a fascist, lying, criminal dictator by the name of Donald Trump. We went to the rally in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Tens of thousands of people showed up. There were more people in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, than there were in Washington, D.C. at this convicted felon piece of shit's birthday party. And Governor Newsom's office made a juxtaposition of the 2 days, the No Kings March, which was wildly attended, small towns, big cities, you name it, and then his little lackluster event that he had where he wanted to humiliate the military because he doesn't think that highly of them. But look at this. San Diego, Philly, large crowds. Squeaky Tank, Madison, Wisconsin, Dallas, Texas. He's asleep. Melania bored to tears. Phoenix, San Francisco. And it goes on and on. You could make this all day long. And it's just interesting to me that we have the momentum and people are seeing what he is doing. And they're either in this weird position where they're like, oh, wait, I own a business, I own a roofing company, and I triple trumped, but I don't want my workers deported. I didn't know he was going to come after my business. You have the people who always saw from the jump that this guy was a criminal, and millions of people didn't vote for him. But there's a lot of cherry picking morality and when you want to be a Trumper and when you don't want to be a Trumper on the right. There's no clarity in Trumpism.
No, well, number one, it's a cult. So whatever they do, they make excuses for him. But I look at this. Let me ask you, what did you think? Because the bleachers directly across from Trump, empty. Nobody's cheering. That had to be the biggest narcissistic wound that I can remember that he's gotten. I mean, that had to physically hurt him. It looked like he was crying. I think more he was asleep. But everybody in that administration that was sitting there seeing that, the Republican congressmen and senators that are seeing that, is it time for them to wake up? Do you think this will wake them up?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that these people want to be in a free and fair society. I think the problem with Trump is he's radicalized people that a few years ago believed in democracy. A few years ago were able to say, yeah, January 6th, that was messed up. I don't ever want him to be in office again. And he radicalized all of these people to their worst impulses, most of which are in the Congress and Senate. And the thing about Trump is the one leader I've seen that genuinely makes people worse. People I know on a personal relationship are worse people now because of him. He emboldens the worst impulses of all of the evil shit that this country has done. And they all embrace each other in all of the fuck yeah, we can say the R word again. And, we can, slap our secretary on the ass and women get to stay at home again and they like it. But here's what's important during these times when you're fighting an authoritarian, when you're fighting fascism, studies say that it takes 3.5% of the population to come out. And I want you all to look at this chart. Saturday was the largest single day U.S. political protests ever. No King's Day had more protesters than the Women's March, the Vietnam Moratorium, the March for Our Lives, the Nuclear Freeze Rally, and the George Floyd Black Lives Matter. So what I have to say to every marginalized person in this country that has felt the way all white people are feeling right now, we are fighting. We know you're tired. We know you're exhausted. We know you're scared. We know that so many immigrants who have come over here that work hard, have families, pay taxes, are being treated like shit by all of these elitist, gross white supremacists. And Saturday was the biggest march in this nation's history. The wind is behind us. It's not going to change overnight, but there is momentum building against this evil. And I believe that the majority of Americans, decent Americans, are appalled by the criminality of the Republican Party, by the criminality of this president, and by the abject moral failings of millions of Americans that still support this man. Millions of Americans see families being ripped apart and they like it, and they like the cruelty, but the majority of us don't like it. It's immoral, it's inhumane, and we will fight to the bitter end for the most marginalized people in this country. And why Christians are not leading this charge is beyond me. But it seems to me like the loudest Christians are the ones that like the cruelest shit that this man does. And America has a crazy Christian problem, and we need to deal with it, and we need to head it face on, because they're at the epicenter of morally trying to justify all the evil shit that this man does.
Well, it's so strange that you have, like, I saw a total that less than 10,000 people went to Trump's march. And you have millions, which I have read in numerous publications, that it's closer to 10 million than 5 million showed up against it. So it is, and I saw so many, keep the immigrants, deport the racists, those kind of things. Like, people are wanting to protect families regardless of the color of people's skin. And I'll have to tell you, in Oklahoma City, that was a shot in the arm to see people are trying and they want out of this regime. And I think Trump and his administration, they're going to double down with the cruelty because they know how much their base likes it.
Okay. And on this same day, there was an assassination of a Minnesota congressman, and her husband and her dog were shot by a rabid MAGA supporter who happens to be, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. A nut job, evangelical, crazy ass, evil Christian. Put up this fact sheet on him. He is a registered Republican, voted for Trump. Evangelical preacher, private security contractor. His hit list included Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, an abortion activist, and he followed anti-LGBTQ hate groups on Facebook. Despite all of this, MAGA influencers immediately are claiming that he was hired by Tim Walz and evil Democrats, providing zero evidence. They are going to get more Democrats killed. So we are in a post-fact era where the MAGA movement is propped up by the people who own the tech industry. You have Elon Musk that owns Twitter, X, and he immediately starts propping up fake news, false information that is wildly dangerous. You have Mark Zuckerberg, who went on a podcast, talked about how he was so happy Trump won because he felt like he had been neutered. He controls Facebook and Meta. So you have this exaggerated fake news system where the majority of people get their news from their smartphones now. And this is really interesting. So Musk was one of the biggest spreaders of misinformation on the planet. So he immediately puts up this tweet after the assassinations. The far left is murderously violent. And then somebody asked Grok, why is the left so murderously violent? They don't seem so tolerant. Grok then explains the claim that, quote, the left is murderously violent isn't backed by evidence. Okay, go to the next slide. And then somebody says, Grok has been manipulated by leftist indoctrination, unfortunately. And Elon Musk says, I know, working on fixing that this week. This is so evil that this man, the guy who shot two couples, a husband and a wife were killed and their dog was killed. And then he shot at another Democratic leader and their spouse. And he is a clear MAGA nut. No questions about it. He worked on a nonpartisan thing within the Minnesota government, nonpartisan. And so they are trying so hard to make this a left-wing crime, and it's not. The criminals in this country are the Republican Party, starting from the president all the way down. White, straight men with guns and crazy ass religiosity are always the killers that do this shit with impunity. They're the fucking terrorists. And what Elon Musk is going to do is he's going to lie about it. Then somebody tries to go on his white supremacist Nazi website and have his AI fact check it. And Grok, the AI fact checks it, and they don't like the facts. So he's going to red pill the AI. And so this is what is happening in America. And I want to remind everybody that Elon Musk wasn't even fucking born here. So by your logic, you say you don't want immigrants coming over here and using loopholes and living off taxpayer money. This man is coming over here, living off taxpayer money, firing American citizens, born American citizens that worked for the federal government that didn't want to be rich. They just wanted a good life with health insurance and maybe a vacation once a year. He fires them, and then he wants to lie and manipulate facts and lie to you and cram lies down your throat so that he can consolidate more power. It is as evil as it fucking gets.
They're all the most evil motherfuckers. But the first thing I thought when I heard this about, obviously condolences, but then I thought the God and Guns crowd are out of control. They are preaching hatred and cruelty. That's what they put on the White House Twitter feed. Cruelty and meanness. Fox News, cruelty, meanness, hate. And you've got these extreme evangelical Christian nationalists. It is God and guns. And when you put that much hate, that much religion and people with guns together, this is the kind of shit that happens.
And just to let you know, this man is a MAGA, triple Trumper, whacked out evangelical freak show nut job. Here's what happened when the press interviewed his roommate.
We even asked about Mr. Bolter's political affiliations, and David Carlson, once again his roommate and best friend, known him since fourth grade, did say Bolter voted for Trump and that he was a strong supporter.
And so, see, there you have it. But they will, MAGA comes out and makes these claims, and then they will triple down, quadruple down, and then conspiracy theories abound. And you have all of these people that are just wildly indoctrinated into all of this that would much rather hate liberals or Democrats or their neighbor than know the truth. And that is a real cancer in this country. And at the same time, while all this crazy stuff is going on, they're dismantling the Department of Education. And lastly, here is a little clip of this guy. This is the shooter who happens to be an anti-gay missionary as well. And you tell me if this doesn't sound exactly like all of the deep-seated MAGA shit. For everybody that lives in middle America, you know this type of guy, you know these types of Christians. They are abundant, they are evil, and they are terrorists. Play the clip.
Peut arriver dans chaque pensée.
So there's no sin
Et il n'y a aucun péché
that God can't take care
que
of.
Dieu ne peut pas enlever.
Nothing.
Il n'y a rien.
There's people, especially in America,
Il y a des gens, particulièrement aux États-Unis,
they don't know what sex they are.
et
They
ils,
don't know how their sexual orientation. They're confused.
ils ne savent pas ce qu'ils sont exactement. Ils ont une confusion.
The enemy has gotten so far into their mind and their soul.
Et l'ennemi est entré dans le fond de leur pensée, de leur âme.
This is something that the United States of America has been exporting for quite some time. If you get into the center of Republican senatorial groups and how they're funded by the Heritage Foundation and all of these other nefarious far-right Christian groups, they have been exporting this type of Christianity to third world countries in Africa for a very, very, very long time, trying to prop up politicians that will execute gay people. We had a senator from our state, James Inhofe, for years and years and years went to Africa to try to help anti-gay politicians get elected. These anti-gay politicians will execute people if they find out they're gay. This is a side project that many, many, many United States senators have had long before Donald Trump came and stepped in. These white MAGA Christians existed before Trump, they exist now, and they will exist after. And it is something that is a just dangerous cancer in this country that has to be addressed. But so many politicians don't want to criticize religion because the white Christians go, I'm being persecuted. And then they want to weaponize it and use it against trying to get gay people assassinated as a side hustle in Africa.
Right. And, when you think about how angry they are, and it goes towards the LGBTQ community, it goes to abortion. This guy was a big abortion protester. At the end of the day, people have to remember that in the Christian faith, it is a patriarchy. The men control everything. They control the women, they control the different races, and they want to extinguish LGBTQIA plus people. Christianity is a patriarchy, and that is why these men are so mad, because women and minorities are educating themselves and they can outwork, outthink, and they are mad about it. So it all comes down to the white men want the power and they feel it slipping away because they're inadequate.
It's such a good point, Pops, because the patriarchal structures of Christianity, the book by definition is very patriarchal. And then what the oligarchs want to do is patriarchal. And that's why you have a lot of non-religious evil billionaires colluding with a bunch of very dangerous religious zealots to consolidate power. But the one thing they have in common is they are white men that wish to consolidate and control power at the top and have nothing trickle down but misery. All right, we'll see you all later.